Daiwa has a lot of reels in their LT line, one of the most well-known being this guy right here, the Daiwa Fuego LT. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the Fuego, we're going to talk about whether I like it or don't like it, and everything in between. So let's get into it. Before I go into my thoughts here, we're going to cover the specs on the reel that I have in my hands right here. Now this guy is the FEG LT 1000D. So this is the 1000 sized reel. The gear ratio is coming in at 5.2 to 1. The max drag is coming in at 11 pounds. It has 6+1 bearings. The weight is 6.2 ounces. The line capacity is 250 yards of 4-pound test and 160 yards of 6-pound test. And the MSRP is coming in at around $109.99. Now this reel has a lot of different features, but the main three we're going to talk about in today's video is the air rotor, digigear, and Zion V body. We're going to go into some of those in the video. Now let's talk about looks here right off the bat. Daiwa is pretty known for making, sleek looking reels, and although this reel is very sleek, it is a little bit more of a boring colorway in comparison to some of Daiwa's other reels. If you compare this to like the Regal LT or the Revros, even some of the Tatulas, it is a little bit more of a bland colorway. It does have pretty much an all black reel with a little bit of gray outlines here, and then you do have some red on the spool. Overall, it's not a crazy colorway. I know that doesn't actually matter in terms of like how the reel fishes, but the reel is usually the thing that I like to be a little more colorful. My rods, I like to be a little more on the plainer side. Overall colorway, it just isn't really anything to bring home about. Now, one thing I thought was interesting on this reel is that it does appear to have a slightly tapered spool. It looks like the spool tapers inward a little bit. The only other reel I can recall off the top of my head that has that is the Daiwa BG. So just something interesting that I noticed on this. I feel like the larger sizes, it's a little bit easier to see on that. The 1000, it's pretty tough, but yeah, just something interesting that I noticed on it. Now, as for versatility and function, this is where this reel really excels. Daiwa does have their mag-sealed technology, so you are able to use this in the saltwater if you wanted. I would have no problem using this for light saltwater use and, having it totally work just fine for you. I would definitely wash it off with fresh water after each use, but this reel is sealed enough to be able to handle that. One thing that I like about this reel versus the Daiwa BG is the Daiwa BG is much heavier. So, if you're maybe just casting out, letting your bait sit, or you're crabbing or something like that, the BG would be a great option. But if you are doing more inshore or you're doing stuff where you're casting more and you're having to hold your setup all day, I think this is a much lighter, easier to use, substitute for that BG, especially in kind of that same price range, that sub 150, for a saltwater, for a good quality saltwater reel. This reel also works great for trout, bass, panfish, any of your regular freshwater use, you're going to be totally fine with. It's light enough to where you can hold it all day without any fatigue, but it's still got that heavy durability that an ocean reel needs, which I think is a great combination to have in between there. They also make a 3000 and 4000 size that would be perfect for your salmon and steelhead uses. So pretty much no matter what species you're targeting, there's a good chance that this reel will work for whatever you need. Now, as for durability and build quality, this is made with Daiwa's Zion V body, which is one of their technologies they make. Anything with the Zion V body is an extremely durable reel that's going to last you a long time. This is kind of another reason why I would recommend this for salmon and steelhead guys, because salmon and steelhead gear takes a beating. It's very hard. You're very hard on your gear when you're salmon fishing or steelhead fishing, and I think this reel is going to hold up to all of that. We actually sell this a lot to a lot of salmon and steelhead guys in the tackle shop I work at, and I haven't heard anything bad yet. It seems like everyone that has this reel really loves it for that use. Like I said before, that mag seal is going to do a great job at keeping salt water out. I would still wash it out with fresh water after each use. I do that with every reel, no matter what in the salt. I don't care how sealed the reel can be, wash it out with fresh water. I think it really helps. Now, as for the ergonomics and feel of this reel, Daiwa is, in my opinion, making the smoothest reels on the market right now, and a lot of that is due to the air drive, which is basically has to do with the rotor inside your reel that is basically helping slow down that inertia as you reel, and it gives you a lot more control. Daiwa is pretty much putting it in all their reels right now, and it is working phenomenal. This reel is extremely smooth, extremely easy to use all day, and it doesn't weigh a ton either, so it just feels great in your hand. I really like the drag clicker as well. It has a really nice smooth clicking to it. So I think if you have a fish rip heavy drag on this, it's going to hold up very well on that. Another reason why salmon and steelhead, guys, I would recommend this. Now talking about casting, I don't think it's as important on spinning reels as it is to talk about with bait casters and other, different products. But on a spinning reel, the main thing I would say is most of your spinning reels are going to cast great if you've got a good quality line on there and you keep your reel spooled up right to the edge. You don't want it to be pouring over the top because that's how you get tangles and bad stuff happens. But you get it right up to the edge of that spool there and it's going to cast just fine for you. And this thing holds a pretty good amount of line too. Even, this is only the 1,000 size. The 3 and 4,000s and even the 2,500s, they all hold a pretty good amount of line. It's definitely a little bit deeper of a spool, which I like. Now, as for price, this reel has kind of two main competitors in my opinion, and that's the Shimano Noski and the Pflueger President XT. All three of those are priced relatively similar to each other, and I feel like all have certain features and benefits that are very comparable to each other. Now, it's all on preference, which one you like or not. I personally love the Shimano Noski. I have multiple of them. I've used them for a long time. So if I have to pick between all three, I'm probably picking the Noski. However, for in terms of like overall finesse applications, I think I would probably pick the Fuego over all of them just because I think this reel is so smooth, lightweight, and easy to hold all day long. It's so comfortable in your hand. Daiwa is doing such a good job on their LT reels of making them just feel and look quality. And then that's totally the case on this. That is the big selling point on the Fuego versus the Noski, is the Fuego is lighter than the Noski. So if having the lightest reel possible is your priority, then I would go the Fuego. If you love Shimano, I also love Shimano's Core Protect. I think it does a phenomenal job of sealing up in the salt. Like I said before, I've had Shimano Noskis and I've fished them for a long time, so I really like them. So if you prefer that, then go the Noski route. But it's kind of, in my opinion, it's kind of up for grabs between both of those reels on this. Let's just real quickly go over the pros and cons of this reel right here. Now, as for the pros, this reel is extremely versatile. You can use it in the saltwater, you can use it freshwater, salmon, steelhead, bass, bluegill, doesn't really matter. This reel can cover it all. It's also very smooth. This reel is so easy to use all day long. It's so smooth with the handle. It's also lightweight as well, considering the sealing and considering the durability of this reel, it is very lightweight. And then also the last one, durability. This reel is made with the Zion V body. It's extremely tough. As for cons, the only thing I can really, add in here is the colorway is a little bit boring compared to some of the other LTs, but, that's a pretty weak con if you ask me. As for rating, I'm giving this reel a 9 out of 10. I think it has everything in a reel that you really want. It's super lightweight, it's tough, it's easy to use all day, it's got a great sounding drag. The only thing I would say is if you made this just a tad bit lighter and you changed up the colorways a little bit, made it a little more exciting, I think this would be a direct inline competition with the Shimano Noski on every aspect. Because that's my one con on the Shimano Noskis, is they're a little bit on the heavier side. Daiwa's kind of beating Shimano right now in terms of cutting down that weight on their sub $120 reels, right? So if they did just a little bit more cut weight on that and, gave you everything the Shimano reel had without the weight, I think this would be an overall winner for the best reel in that price point. If you guys would like to see a rod that would pair up extremely well with this reel, I will put that video here. If you want to see some other reels that I really like in this same price range, I'm going to put that video right here for you. Hopefully you guys got a kick out of today's episode. Hopefully you learned something. We'll see you guys next time on Humbug Videos.